sir. Welcome back to Dimers TV. And for today's episode, we will once again continue with our team preview series. This time, we will be talking about the Houston Rockets. Okay, so the Houston Rockets, what a season they had last season. It was a very different season for them. And they finally decided, you know what, we're gonna blow it up and start all over. Okay, so of course that was marked by two important deals that happened when they traded Russell Westbrook to the Wizards for John Wall, and then earlier in the season last year they traded away James Harden to the Brooklyn Nets. So that basically signified that they were ready to start all over again. Okay, and they finished the season with a 17-55 record. That was last worst in the Western Conference. They also had the worst record in the league. Okay, so in terms of their team stats, the Houston Rockets averaged only 108.8 points under new coach Stephen Silas. That was good for 24th in the league. Rebounding wise, they also didn't rebound the ball well, as they only averaged 42.6 rebounds per ball game. That was 27th in the league. And then when it comes to the assists, they only averaged 23.6. That was 24th in the league. And then when it comes to points allowed, they gave up 113.6 points, which was 23rd in the league. So that was just their story last season. Of course, Christian Wood was the big acquisition last year. They got him in free agency, and he turned out to be a really good player there. This is a really young team here for the Houston Rockets. They acquired 4 first-round picks in Jalen Green, Alperen Şengün, and then they also added Josh Christopher and also Usman Garuba. And then they recently waived Tyler Bay so that they because they wanted to sign, or they re-signed actually Dante Exum, the former lottery pick way back in 2014. And then of course they also have that John Wall news, wherein John Wall and the Houston Rockets have mutually agreed that Wall won't be playing, and the Rockets will just try to find a team where they can trade it. Okay, so again, let's now go to their potential depth chart. So their potential starting lineup, we're looking at Kevin Porter Jr. and with Jalen Green, that would be an exciting backcourt. And then the revelation last year, Jayshawn Tate. They also added Daniel Theis, by the way. Signed him so that he's a potential starter right there. And also Christian Wood, of course, is still there. We're hoping Christian Wood was one of the breakout players last year. Would, stay healthy this time around. And then for their second unit or their bench players, you're probably looking at DJ Augustine if they still keep him. Also Eric Gordon, who's part of some, who's open to being traded. As of the moment, he's still with the Rockets. And then we have Daniel House, KJ Martin, and Alperen Şengün, who also had a great summer league, by the way. And then some of the other players, maybe third stringers, you can look at Dante Exum and the rookie Josh Christopher, also Usman Garuba will be part of the other players that they have. And they also added undrafted player Matthew Hurt, who was, of course, projected to be drafted, but then ended up being undrafted. But he played well, and he was signed as a he signed a two-way contract for the Houston Rockets. Okay, so let's proceed to how these additions will now affect the Rockets in general. For thoughts and predictions. So again, if we look at the stats, the Rockets did not really perform well last year. As a very young team, they had the worst record in the league. They struggled offensively. So let's look at the guys that, without John Wall. So that means it will be KPJ and Jalen Green. Both of those guys can really score the basketball. So, the additions of Jalen and then mixing it up now with Kevin Porter, that would really help them when it comes to the scoring output. The rebounding, they're hoping that a healthy Christian Wood together with a Daniel size, and then you bring in guys like Shengun. They're hoping that the rebounding, that 42.6 rebounds per game would improve as well. And then the assists, Kevin Porter has shown that he can really distribute the basketball. Um, they're leaning on him to provide that. Dante Exum as well. Maybe that's the reason why they wanted to bring him in, so that they can also improve in that aspect. And then when it comes to the points allowed, these guys like the Jay Sean Tates or the KJ Martins of the world, they are the ones that really provide a lot of energy, a lot of versatility. The defense that those guys bring together with a guy like Daniel House. They're hoping that that defense can improve, especially with guys like Thais as well, and Shengun and even Garuba. Maybe they can improve the defense of the Houston Rockets. And then underrated but can also be a surprise would be Josh Christopher, the highly athletic player from Arizona State. They're hoping that he can also show out or ball out here in his rookie season. Okay, so from there, what are our predictions? They finished the season at 17-55. This season, they will come in with no more distractions. We know very well that this team is gonna go, or has already gone all in with this rebuilding process. The positive side of that is that there will be a lot of time for these guys to get exposure and to play a lot of minutes, and to learn, right? And that's exactly how young players learn, through playing, right? But again, a mixture of youth and inexperience has never been a recipe for success in the NBA. But that's okay, because I don't think the Rockets are expecting anything. They don't expect to make it to the playoffs or to the play in. They're just after, giving these kids all the opportunities they can have in order for them to develop. So we don't really see the Rockets improving much from the 1755 record. We're probably looking at maybe 23, especially now with the 82 game format, or the 82 game format is back. So maybe we're looking at around 20 to 25 wins for the Houston Rockets this season. That ends our second episode of our team preview series about the Houston, which is all about the Houston Rockets. We will see you again on the next team preview series. Keep safe, everyone.